take care of yourself first. If you're 60 pounds overweight and you're watching porn every night and you're not providing for your family, like focus on that first.
And if we rebuild ourselves first through personal excellence and wellness and financial freedom and following your own guiding star, we can solve this problem. But it does start with us.
This is about control. Everybody knows. Everyone complies. We're the kinds of pros. I don't need a plane. I just hit the road. I do what I want. I can't sell my soul. Market about to crash. This is what you chose. Ruining the country. I think that's the goal. You gonna take the mark. I take narrow roads. I'm a man of God. I can never fold.
Let's go. Woo! All right, here we go. Let's start this timer. All right, you ready?
Rock.
All right, welcome to the Protect Your Purpose podcast, where we talk whiskey, business, friends, family, and freedom. I'm your host, Matt Marchese, and this is my co-host, Zach Grady. What up, my guy?
What's up?
How you doing
I love
today?
this middle seat.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's weird going in this direction. But anyway, let's get back to business here. Today we have a guest. We have a very important guest who has a lot of important shit to talk about. Joel Staley with Shed Fat Fast, correct?
What up? That's
Yes. All right. Joel is an entrepreneur, a business owner, runs a online fitness program. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can stop me at any point. It's a 90-day body shaping program where he is guaranteed to whip your ass right into shape, correct?
Amen.
Awesome. Tell me about your business real quick before we get started on the whiskey.
Yeah, we started off working with just dads. Amy was pregnant with our first daughter, Kennedy, and I started to find out, like, you're limited with time. Then she went to daycare, and it was like, all right, so I wake up, I'm dad, I go straight to work for 9 hours, and then that little bit of free time I had after work is now gone. I'm dad again. So now I have like 8 p.m. to 9, and I'm exhausted. So I just realized there was a lot of unique challenges that came with being a father or a parent.
Sure.
When it comes, like, I used to count my calories and macros and eat 6 times a day and meal prep on Sundays. And it just seemed like all that time went out the window. Go to the gym whenever I wanted.
Yeah.
So I had to get a lot smarter about my training. And then once I discovered something that worked for me, I was able to realize that there was a lot of guys that were struggling with those unique challenges, and women too. And I brought it to the marketplace, and it just kind of blew up.
Dude, that's
Here,
perfect.
Real quick, if you're enjoying the show, please don't forget to smash that subscribe and like button. It's absolutely free, and it greatly helps out the channel. And Matt, what are you drinking?
I don't know, Zach, what are we drinking?
We're drinking that. Let's go.
A Henry McKenna 10-year, which is fantastic. All right, how many calories do you think are in this here glass of whiskey that you are not partaking in?
There's about 60 calories an ounce. I know because I used to count that shit, and I love whiskey. So.
Yes, do you?
Yeah.
And you're not another guest, another one bites the dust who is not drinking with us, which is fine.
But
as long as you come to the table.
He's got a reason.
Yeah.
He doesn't like
he's
drinking
actually
it.
going to go work out after this.
Yeah, he's got you
doesn't
have
wanna be
things to do.
blitzed.
Whiskey's the best pre-workout. Am I right?
It is. I've done that before. Dude, not during leg day, though. That's where I draw the line.
Oh, leg day, no whiskey.
Leg day, yeah. You throw up. I will say, so I haven't had a drink in 6 months as of 2 days
congrats.
ago,
Oh.
only because I committed to my 2 twin daughters for their first birthday. I was like, Dad's going to do a year off because I'm a nightly whiskey guy.
Are you really?
Yeah.
So is this like torture to you?
No, man, it would have been the first month or so, but dude, I gotta say, I'm also a very addictive personality type
Sure.
person. So when I
Amen.
say one whiskey guy, I mean like at a time.
Multiple whiskey. yeah, of course. So you got a year journey.
Yeah.
You're 6 months deep into that.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's
Thanks.
awesome.
Thanks, dude.
I know it's probably too soon to tell. Are you going to go beyond a year, you think?
Man, I don't know. I do feel this is something I never thought I could do, man.
Yeah,
because
man.
I don't think there's anything wrong with drinking, especially like responsibly and stuff.
Sure.
But I'm just pretty like, I told myself so many times that, all right, I'm not going to drink tonight. I didn't need to drink last night. It was a Tuesday.
That's right.
Then you wake up and you have like the whiskey still on your breath a little bit. And you're like, oh, God, I feel gross. I'm not going to drink tonight.
That's right.
And then 5 o'clock comes, you got 3 screaming kids and a wife that's like yelling at you about something. You're like, oh yeah, this is why I drink every night.
That's right.
And then
Whiskey
it's like
time.
this loop, dude. So that first couple weeks of not drinking, I was like, holy shit, dude. I'm like actually not drinking right now. This is sick.
Yeah.
And it feels really good.
Yeah, man. Lindy and I were just talking about that. So we're starting the 75 Hard program in conjunction with the Purpose program. We'll talk about that off the air, but we're starting again September 4th or something along those lines. And we were just talking, Lindy and I were talking last night about how I remember the first time I did it being about 45, 50 days in and me being almost afraid to go back. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to have another drink again because the clarity and just the control over my brain. I mean, it helps everything from, just overall productivity to my financial situation always improves when I'm clear-headed and not drinking. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Like it's addicting. I know Jay Morales actually started on a 1-year deal.
He's like 400 days plus now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he's
he just
over a
kept
year.
going. Yeah, and you recently just chatted with him,
I
right?
did. Yeah, he's a beast.
He is. He's awesome, man.
Well, with
Good
that
dude.
being said,
Let's drink. Cheers to our 50 calories.
Let me grab my pre-workout.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about your pre-workout.
so hold on before we get into
Okay.
that. So how I met Joel, right? I
right,
think
yeah,
it
let's
was
hear it.
probably at the beginning. Was it like right towards when you went?
Oh yeah, I was
personal trainer?
growing a Facebook group.
So it was pre-COVID, I guess. It may 2018, 2019.
It was, yeah.
I had this bright idea. I was like, man, I'm going to start like a Facebook or a Instagram page about being a dad and it's called like Finish Dad of 4 or something
remember
like that. And I was like, I don't really see much of those, man. This is going to be a great idea. I'm going to be a fucking influencer. Let's
Yeah,
go.
you got it.
And then after I created it, I was like, oh, there's like a million of these fucking dudes out here. So, but Joel had messaged me because he had started the Dads Who Lift Facebook group I think it was just a Facebook group at the time,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
there was like 20 guys in it when I messaged you.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
I jumped into that, and then now it's up to like,
53,000.
yeah, there's a shit
You
ton
got
of dudes.
53,000 people in that Facebook group?
Yeah.
That's
But
pretty
then,
cool.
then you kind of branched off and did like the apparel line and like a whole bunch of. I don't know how much you're involved with that shit anymore, but
Still rocking, dude. I still
that's how
wear
I
it.
met Joel, the only dude who has ever slid into my DMs. And then turns out
No
he lives in
homo.
Omaha. I don't even know if we knew that at the time that
I
we
don't think
both
so.
we both live in Omaha because he like we're about to talk about. He's trying to branch out, online everywhere.
Yeah.
And then just kind of started hanging out, working out a couple times. Our families hang out every once in a while.
Done triathlons together now.
Yep, did the try. He was one of the ones that did that triathlon with Will.
You guys are just officially in a full-blown bromance
little
now.
bromance.
Dude,
yeah.
Zach's a real one, man.
I love that.
He's a beast.
He is. Zach is a beast, and we oftentimes only make fun of him and don't give him enough credit for his accomplishments. But he is a beast. He's a beast. He's a monster, and takes risks and puts his body through challenges, and always comes on top. It's pretty fun to watch.
With that also being said,
No homo.
I
homo?
definitely look up to Joel on the fitness side of things for sure. 'Cause
Sure.
he knows what he's doing.
And we're going to talk about that. So you slid into Zach's DMs, and then you built this online group, a Facebook group that has grown to 53,000 people.
Yep.
Let me ask you this: we're going to hop into this too from a business standpoint. Are those 53,000 people and growing? I assume. Are those feeders into your business, your online coaching business that you're using?
You would think so,
Yeah.
wouldn't you?
I would.
Dude, I am continually impressed by the type of people who join Dads Who Lift and how, how can I say this?
How not
There's
committed
a bunch of chiefs.
how committed they are to not actually being dads who live.
Everybody knows everything in that group.
Dude, there's a
Oh,
typical
really?
type of person that hangs out in a Facebook group all day, and they're not the type of person that's looking to learn or grow. I guess that's
Yeah.
what I'll say.
Okay.
So it's a lot of people. It's a cool number. Sometimes I'll leverage it to get like on a big podcast or be like, yeah, I got a Facebook group with 53,000 guys.
Sure.
But then I'll be like, hey, we found one little thing that's helped 1,400 people see insane results. Who wants to hear it? And the algorithm reaches like 15 guys.
Yep.
And up until very recently, we had too many members to even hit the at everyone. It wouldn't even let us do that.
Oh, really?
And now that we do have at everyone, people are like, why do you keep
Stop
tagging
fucking
me and
tagging.
shit? I'm like, dude, I fucking hate you
Why?
guys.
Why are you in this group?
Well, when nobody knows Joel created the
fucking
group, though.
hate you
I
guys.
think what's part of the problem is they just think you're some other sleazy dude in the group. Because there's a bunch that like peddle their fucking shit, but they don't know you were actually the guy who started the group. So they're just like think he's some other fucking clown trying to peddle
Right.
his fucking.
I could do a better job at being consistent and doing content and stuff, but man, I just I'm not a big fan of like the talking head video or being that guy, you know.
Yeah, amen. I understand that very much.
I think
so.
your time is well spent other places too than in that group.
Well,
It's cool, but not that cool.
So these groups, and the reason why I asked is because this is a model. It's a business model where you build a following and then you sell your services to that following. But it oftentimes is not as easy as you would think. I mean, you got influencers who have, 100,000 followers or subscribers, and you're like, or 1 million followers, and you're like, oh, you're bankrolling. And they're like, dude, I'm making $2,800 a month, and I'm working my ass off for it. It's not what you think. But a lot of times in that model, selling a service to that following is where you can actually make money,
100%.
Not from the following themselves.
And I branded it terribly because I was just getting going, but our neck and neck competitor is a Facebook group that I do recommend you go check out. That's Dad Bod Transformation. And that speaks to my market so much better than Dads Who Lift because I end up attracting all these
meatheads,
overweight, strong, powerlifting guys that could give two fucks about losing any weight. They just want to put another 20 on their bench. Yeah. So it is a great model. I just, fucked it up at the very beginning.
Is there? So do you think that's just branding, naming, or is there any lessons you can learn from your competitor that seems like they're monetizing off of their following?
For sure. I don't know how their model works specifically. I don't hang out in there enough, but if I were to go back and do it differently, I would have rebranded it more of the transformation, the level up.
Dads who lose weight and lift.
Yeah, something along those lines. Maybe it slips off the tongue a little easier, but also being consistent with all right, going live 2 times a week, giving free guides. I mean, I disappeared from that group just out of frustration for years at a time.
Yeah, sure. So I would, not that you're here to solicit my advice, but scratch the group. Let it run its, scrap that thing, start a new group and start investing in it. I mean, do it the way you want to, make do a day-long, strategic planning, vision building day where, hey, what do I want this to look like? Come up with a name and figure it out. And then go to that group and pluck out the 15 people that are valuable to you, that are aligned with your mission and your goals. Pull them over to the other group and start pumping it.
Did you create a Shed Fast group?
Well, what's nice is right now, Matt mentioned we've had over 1,400 clients. All of those people are still in a Facebook group. They're all buyers. They've all paid thousands of dollars to be there. I just give them lifetime access. And now I'm working on more of a new offer because I do have a following in that group. I've already got them great results. They know, like, and trust me. So it's all right, we've gotten you to lose 40 pounds. Now maybe we can get you to start that business or date your wife again or whatever unique challenges they have.
Sure. Dude, that's we were talking off the air about this model and how I'm building out my coaching platform, a coaching group, currently doing it for all of my employees. Some of my friends, family are involved in the group, and I will eventually soon open it up for paid subscriptions to the coaching group, all encompassing group, right? I've got an app. It's the Protect Your Purpose app. It's the Protect Your Purpose coaching group. It's a pretty cool deal. It's a part of our whole web with the American Purpose brand. But as I was doing this and building it out, I'm going, man, this is genius as far as doing this for any kind of coaching group. I mean, if you're a financial advisor, you should have a coaching group where you teach financials or give financial advice and coach financial advising. And fitness being one where, if you can expand, kind of as we discussed off the air, if you can expand that globally, I mean, you have unlimited clients with the ability to reach out and connect with them virtually, online, through a coaching platform. The opportunity is endless to the point where it almost seems, I don't know, I guess it's a different part of the market, but it almost seems like a lesser opportunity for business to have a brick and mortar and a gym rather than just saying, hey man, you can go to Anytime Fitness for $39.99 a month or whatever, take this model, take this diet plan, report back weekly or whatever your plan is, and boom, you can probably have as high of results as any gym, right?
Dude, 100%. So working out is like 10% of
Yeah.
your fitness results.
Sure.
It's diet, it's accountability, it's consistency, and it's community.
Sure.
So like doing the Shed Fat Fast program versus going to your local YMCA and getting a personal trainer, it's vastly different because you're on the personal trainer's schedule at that point. You're paying them by the hour.
Right.
And then so you pay them $50 an hour, let's say 3 times a week, $150 a week, and they're not doing anything with your diet. They're not you have to like drive across town and meet them. And half the time, dude, I love watching personal trainers because they're just playing on their phone.
Yeah.
And like their job is to be like, you got this. One more.
Keep pushing.
Give me one more.
You got it.
Dude, I was in Genesis yesterday and saw a dude doing that exact. Well, he wasn't on his phone, but he was just like sitting there while the dude was doing like crunches or something. And he was just like fucking dazed off. I was like, you're
Like a
adding
drill
zero
sergeant.
value to this guy's life.
Yeah.
And he fucking paid you like $300 to be here today. Like, it's fucking insane.
Now, one thing I will say about our gym that we go to, Kinesis,
Community.
dude, the community is ridiculous, and they are all like-minded individuals.
See, that's huge.
Good spirit people. The reason why Lindy and I think we've actually talked about on the show, the reason why Lindy and I didn't want to go to that gym was because we were afraid of the people and didn't want to be a part of their whatever we saw that as community is what it is. And we went during COVID, and then immediately we're like, the reason we want to go back is because of the communities, because of the people. We found a place where, in a world where nothing was normal, we found a really solid sense of normalcy and community, which was dope. And the coaches, man, the coaches there, they know what they're talking about, high level, and they don't walk around on their phone. They're not pump you up, let's go, although that's a part of it. You got this. They are technical coaches who are walking around in classes of, 10, 15, 20, 30, 35 people walking around, and literally every single person, spread your legs out 1 inch, point your toes out a little bit, go down, giving technical instructions throughout the entire class, every single class. And it's amazing. Zach came actually one day, and one of the coaches, I forget who it was.
Oh, my burpees. Yeah, corrected me on my burpees.
And he was like, holy shit, I've been doing it's so much less energy to do it this way than that way. So a good technical coach can really make a difference in person. How do you overcome that?
Well, they were like, Zach, you can't have your penis tucked between your legs.
That's exactly right. You're doing the trans burpees. You have to do the male version of the
Anyone
burpee.
could have corrected that.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing at the gym, then I can definitely see the benefit of seeing a one-on-one personal trainer.
Sure.
Now, what you're talking about is community. I've thought about doing CrossFit just for that alone.
Yeah.
It is nice to have a group of like-minded people who are pushing you, that you get to know what their goals are, who their families are, what they do, what they're all about. I thought about hiring a one-on-one personal trainer just to because it's cheaper than a videographer. And you'd be
Sure.
like, dude, I don't need your help. Just record me. I need
Right.
some Facebook reels or whatever. But if you don't know what you're doing, a one-on-one trainer can be beneficial. I would say from my experience, especially like middle-aged guys or women that have lifted weights, it's always the diet is the aspect. So like if you go to the gym and you know what you're doing there, but your diet sucks, or you can't stick to your plan there, or you feel like you're trying to tackle this yourself and your wife and your kids and your coworkers are all like acting against you, not purposely, but because they don't give a fuck about losing weight,
Right.
then you're going to be better off in some sort of community, whether that is like brick and mortar, like you're talking about, or a Facebook group or whatever it is.
Yeah. And a lot of that, like you said it earlier, accountability. That's being accountable to something is hard.
Yeah.
And we talk about it on this show often. Like, you just have to do it. And it's for me too. I mean, it's hard for everybody. It's hard for you. I think a community, an online community, a weekly coaching group, or even, a daily CrossFit. But as you said, that doesn't help your diet. As soon as you leave that gym, you feel good. You're like, hell yeah, ready to start my day. You get going, and then lunchtime comes around and you're busy. And now what do? You eat. Well, what are we eating? I don't have
Eat whatever.
You eat whatever's there.
I earned it.
Yeah, I earned it, right. And now you're like, I'll just be right. I'll earn it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's a problem too. as far as diet, what do you recommend people do that have that, busy schedule, and are not going to be able to outwork their diet in an hour a day?
I know what he's
Are
going to
you
say.
are you a chicken and rice guy?
Yeah. What's your,
No, I don't. I barely ever eat chicken. Funny enough, like I don't know. It doesn't sit right in my stomach. I'm more of a red meat guy.
Okay.
Chicken, I don't. It's like you eat it and you're not hungry anymore, but you just feel like I don't know.
Like you didn't eat?
It's weird. Yeah, I don't know. More of a red meat guy, but I've recently cleaned up my diet a touch. I'm more of the eat what the family's eating. As the guy of the house, I do think you should lead. So, like, if you're eating nothing but dog shit every night, you got to be like, hey, maybe I'll take command of meals from now on, and we'll start having, like, steak and potatoes and vegetables and shit like that. But, like, I'd be lying if I didn't say we have spaghetti, pizza sometimes, chicken fried rice, whatever it is. I try to keep it, like, 70-30. If you can grow it or kill it, it's probably better for you than if it was made in some lab somewhere.
Yep.
But I'm a big proponent of fasting, dude. Especially as a business owner, a parent to 3 little girls, a lot of responsibilities. I would much rather wake up, go to the gym, take the kids to school, and then work for 8 hours straight through than like work for 2 hours, drive to Dunkin' Donuts, go get something,
Right.
drive back. Or meal prep and split my day into 3 or 4 different things and then have that like, oh, I just ate lunch and now I'm fucking tired for the last 2 hours out of my day.
Yeah.
So as far as productivity goes and saving like all my calories or what I can eat till later, dude, I like to just fast until I'm done with work and then eat whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Wait, so you fast
intermittent
throughout
fasting.
the whole day? So
Yeah.
you start your fast sometime at night when you go to bed,
Like, yeah, whenever I stop eating, usually like 9:30 or so.
and then you don't eat again until dinner? Did I understand
Usually
that right?
like 3 to 4, sometimes 5 o'clock.
So you do longer than a 16-hour fast?
Oh,
then?
big time. Yeah, I'll even do like 48 or 72s if I need to.
What do you mean if you need to?
So say
Feel a little
like
sluggish.
say like I had a dog shit weekend, because I don't really do that on the weekends. I do it so I can be productive during the day. But if we're at home, like with the kids, Saturday, Sunday, they want to eat breakfast. They want to go out for lunch or go out for dinner or whatever, eat as a family. So I'm typically eating like a, quote unquote normal person Saturday, Sunday. And then say I just feel like dog shit. That's the funny thing about fasting, man. Everyone's like, I can never do that. You feel like phenomenal.
Really?
Once you get the first 24 hours is the toughest by far. And if anyone's doctor says, hey, you got to do a colonoscopy, or hey, you're going under the knife in a couple days, we need you to fast for 24 hours.
Yep.
They don't bat an eye.
Of course.
But that's by far the toughest part. I did 16-8 for like 6 months or so. And by 10:30, 11 a.m., I'm just like staring at the clock like, is it noon yet, dude?
Yeah.
I'm fucking so
I'm so
ready
hungry.
to eat. But when you know that you're not at that light at the end of the tunnel, it's like far away, you actually get to the point you don't even think about food for a while. And if you can get past that 24 hours, go to bed and make it to the 36-hour mark, you wake up that second day and you're in ketosis, you're burning fat, your hunger pain goes away, you have like this feeling of euphoria. We've had people that joined our program and we require them to do a 36-hour fast to start.
Whew.
And they're like nervous as shit. They've never
Dive in that ice water.
They've never even like done 16-8, and we coach them through it. There's little tips and tricks you can do to make the 24 hours easier, like get enough water, electrolytes, all that stuff. But once they get to day 2, man, we've had guys go like 5 or 6 days of fasting because they're like, bro, the weight's melting off. I feel phenomenal. Like, I want to push this thing. I'm like
Yeah.
shocked. So it is funny. You got to make it to that second day or you're really shooting yourself in the foot.
We have a girl that works for us. She just started not long ago, and when she got hired, she was on day 3 or whatever of a cleanse, of a fast.
Yeah.
And she went, maybe I'm wrong, 16 or 18 days.
Woo! See, I haven't done that.
Bro,
I've
she was
noticed that.
trying to do 45, and she was like, I made the commitment that I'm going to listen to my body. And on day, I think it was 18, she was like, it was time
Yeah.
for me to go. And I'm going 18 days where all she had was liquid and whatever concoction,
Vitamin
like
pills or something.
vitamin supplements and like water with cayenne pepper and fuck, I don't know, lemon juice or whatever it was. And I'm going, holy shit, dude. 18 days is a long time to not eat. When you said 36 hours, I kind of went, ooh.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
know
you
if
got
I'm
to think
doing
about
that.
it. Up until very recently, that's just how humans ate.
Sure.
It's very recent. That we're like, wake up,
Fat and gluttonous and
snack till the next meal.
Yeah.
Snack till the next meal.
Yeah,
Like
course.
the only time that you're not eating and you give your digestive system any sort of break at all is when you finally go to bed at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It gets like a 6 or 7 hour breather.
Right.
It's nuts.
So
I got a question.
Go
So
ahead.
those fasts.
No, it won't make your beard less gray.
I'm trying to make it more gray, actually. But,
you need to do something there.
so I think it's important to talk about at the end of a fast. Because I think the first things you put in your body towards the end of the fast are probably just as important. You could like literally throw it all away if you eat the wrong thing initially
100%.
after a fast. So talk a little bit about what you recommend eating if you do a longer fast initially.
So, yeah, if you're starting your fast and you eat like pizza or a big stack of pancakes or just anything that's like super simple carby.
You're going to want to grab anything at that point.
Yeah, your blood sugar spikes and then it dips and then you just get that. We've all like eaten pancakes in the morning and then you're like, oh, I'm stuffed. Then 2 hours later, you're like, why am I fucking starving again?
Starving again.
So you're really setting yourself up for success if you do that. So for your last meal before jumping into a fast, like high fat, moderate protein, 0 to no carbs, big fat steak is my usual go-to.
You're saying before, right?
Before, yeah. Will make your fasting easier. And funny enough, dude, it's very similar when you break because, like I said, once your body gets into ketosis, it's burning straight body fat. It's burning fat. So if you just slam it with a bunch of carbs, then it's like,
Yeah.
I guess we're burning carbs now, boys. Get to work. And you just feel like shit. But if you're still burning fat, but now it's dietary fat, then it's like a smooth transition. You feel really good.
So like a lean protein or something like that.
Not even lean, dude. You want some fat in there.
Okay.
Like you can do chicken, but throw some avocado or some oil in there. Like you really want to make sure that it keeps burning fat.
And you're talking about going into the fast.
No, this is at the end.
Both.
Yeah, both.
At the end,
So you
when
could eat
break the fast,
You could eat a steak going in and then a steak coming out.
Yeah, exactly.
you want
Just
a
something
ribeye.
fatty.
I like that.
I might kind of die.
Something fatty, low
Somebody
carb.
say
though, is what
steak.
you're saying.
Yeah.
Don't slam it with carbs, or then you're just confusing the fuck out of it.
Exactly.
So my little brother does this intermittent fasting, and this is something that I had no idea. So just for clarification, the intermittent fasting is keto. What you're trying to do with the intermittent fast is get your body into ketosis, so you're now burning fat, right?
Intermittent changes the game a little bit. And I
Okay.
know you guys like conspiracies, dude.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm pretty sure. I have a feeling that the intermittent fasting craze came out because people were starting to figure out all the health benefits and like the ease of actually losing weight with real fasting, like we're
Got
talking
it.
about.
So
They're
it's like fasting, diet fasting.
They're
It's
like, oh,
fasting
skip
light.
breakfast. Push your breakfast back 2 hours.
Right.
That's the move. So now you like Google fasting, and it's like, yeah, 16-8. Skip breakfast for a couple
Right.
hours. Like, dude, no, you don't get any of the hormonal benefits. You don't get like the
HGH, right?
ketosis.
Your body
Yeah,
starts producing.
exactly. HGH gets jacked up. Testosterone gets jacked up.
So real quick, I just want to make sure I'm understanding you right. So are you saying 16-8 is because I was actually about to start back up 16-8. Are you not recommending that then?
That is a great maintenance plan if you're not trying to gain weight. But the only benefit to 16-8 is you aren't spiking your insulin till later. You're giving your body some time to actually burn stored body fat instead of just keep loading more shit in there. So it is better because you can still have the amount of calories in a day that you want to eat, and it's easier to not spread them out over 14 hours. You can eat bigger meals and satiate yourself more within like 8 hours. But as far as the hormonal benefits and getting into ketosis, unless you're eating in a ketogenic way, like you're only eating high fat, moderate protein, low fat, low carbs.
Yep.
It's not enough time to get into what we would call forced ketosis. That happens at like the 36-hour mark.
Oh, wow.
So if you're going to do intermittent fasting and your goal is ketosis, you've got to do it with a ketogenic diet. high fat, moderate protein, low carb,
Yeah.
no sugar.
But dude, I'm not a big fan of restricting what I do eat. What I like about fasting is you might need to start a fast a certain way so it doesn't suck, and you might want to end a fast a certain way so you're not like stuck on the toilet for a couple hours.
Yep.
But in between those things, you really can't eat whatever you want. And there's checks and balances. You want to make sure you're eating like enough protein so you don't lose
Not
muscle and
fast
shit
food,
like that. Yeah,
not garbage.
yeah. But that's another benefit too, is because it's the old once you pop, you just can't stop. If you start eating carbs and chips and all these things, you really get out of alignment with what your body's asking for. But if you do a 48-hour fast, you don't want like cereal or Taco Bell. You're like, dude, a fucking steak, sounds awesome.
That's what Mikey said.
right
He's
now.
like, dude, your body starts like you turn into a carnivore again. You start craving meat.
Yeah, dude.
It's great.
100%.
So how often are you doing a 36 to 96? You said 3-day, right? So that would be 96, 72. Math.
Right now, I'm not doing any long fasts because I don't have that much body fat to lose. What I really like
about it, why don't you?
What I really like about,
Sorry, Joel.
I mean, obviously, what I like about fasting is it, unlike keto, where it's like you're either doing it or you're not, or counting calories. You're either doing it or you're not. Everybody fasts. If you go to bed for 8 hours, you're fasting. So it's like a dial. The more you crank it up, the faster you're going to lose fat, and then. But it also is like you can turn it down and still be successful.
Sure.
So if I want to be, how I really came across this is I had done a few men's physique bodybuilding shows. And I kept getting like, I got second place overall the first year, and then I committed to keep doing it. And then I got like fifth place. Then I got like third place. I was counting calories, sticking to a meal plan this whole time. Then the fourth year, my buddy, one of my best friends, had a bachelor party like 3 weeks before the show. All these other times, dude, I'm not drinking. I'm not eating anything that's not on my meal plan. It's like I'm dialed in, working out twice a day. And now we're going to Arizona for like 4 days. It's going to be a complete shit show bender with the boys. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to jump on stage and look ridiculous, but I also am not going to miss this bachelor party.
Right.
The guy that owns the company we all worked for at the time was going, and there's going to be like bottle service and just craziness. I'm like, dude, I'm not missing this fucking bachelor party to save my life.
Right.
Fuck that show. But so I come back. I didn't even sign up for it yet, but I'm like, all right, I just got into the fasting, the longer fast. I'm like, dude, I'm going to roll some 48s, roll some 72s, and I'm just going to see what happens. I'm going to sign up at the last minute if I can peel this fat off. And dude, it was the first bodybuilding show I ever took first place.
No
Hey,
kidding.
congrats. That's awesome.
I got lean fast as fuck. And it
Because
was
of the
easy.
fast.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
in instances like that, to answer your question, if you have more fat you want to lose and you're like a go-get-em, grab life by the throat guy, dude, you could roll 48 and 72-hour fasts. We've helped a lot of people do it, and you can lose 50 pounds in 90 days. And then maintenance is easy. You don't have to do that forever. That's when you can dial it back, get into like a 16-8,
Yep.
and you can maintain it.
So not to get all your secrets away, but
I'm an open book.
okay. So
Let's go.
What, like a 48 once a week, or how often? Because you're obviously not continuously 48, because then that would just be an endless fast. So
No, for me, so what I would do is like usually one meal a day. I say one meal a day. It means I like start eating when I stop working and then before I go to bed. So it's like 4 or 5 hours. Monday through Friday.
It's a long meal.
And yeah, it
Like the
really
Last Supper.
it's
Yeah.
a few meals in there.
Right.
It's like one meal all day kind of.
Right.
So, but then if I totally shit the bed Saturday, Sunday, Friday night, then I could throw in a 48 from Sunday night and eat again Tuesday night. And because I'm used to only eating during those like 4 hours or so, I'm really only missing Monday night. And luckily, how I have it planned out, coincidentally, is I do all my group coaching calls Monday night. So I'm staying busy anyway. So in that instance, if I wanted to like really let up the reins on my diet, I could do a 48 once a week and easily maintain. Now, if you have 50 pounds you want to lose and you have a cruise in 90 days, then you might be doing multiple long fasts a week, which when I started out the Shed Fat Fast program, I thought, all right, I'm going to have people eat normal. Again, I keep, saying that. Eat all day, one day, and then they'll do a long fast, and then we'll wean them off a couple days, eat normal again, and then do another one. And what we found out is that fucked people up.
Sure.
Because eating was still like the norm. So anytime you fasted, you're like, oh, I would be eating breakfast right now. Oh, I'd be eating lunch right now. I'd be eating dinner right now.
Yep.
When we just ripped the Band-Aid and we're like, all right, you're going to do a 48-hour fast, eat whatever you want, make sure it's like you get enough protein, you feel good. Then you're going to do another 48-hour fast.
Yep.
And rinse and repeat until that fucking weight's gone.
Right.
Within like the first week, they're like, you don't think about food until maybe dinner time. And then I just go work out instead. And then like it's time to eat the next night. And fat's peeling off. You get all the hormonal benefits, all the health benefits. It's like literally too easy. It's a biohack, dude.
That's crazy. So it's quite literally the starve yourself all day diet.
Conspiracy theory, not starve yourself, dude, because you feel if you have body fat to lose. Now, if you're like a lady that's 100 pounds and you just have like an eating disorder,
You're starving
yourself.
Yeah.
All fat is food that you ate previously. It's sitting on your gut. It's almost like you're in calorie debt. So
Right.
you're just paying off your debts at that point. But conspiracy theory wise, dude, just think about like, and why I think the intermittent fasting thing was so big. Like, think about how many industries would just fucking crumble overnight. If
Oh my God.
People started eating once a day or once every 2 days.
Oh, dude, the restaurant industry is toast.
Or just
Everything.
watched what they were eating in general.
Dude, the medical industry, all the like big
course.
food companies, like a lot of them.
I mean,
You
we
know-
talk about it all the time. They want us fat.
You know,
They want
pharma
us
is
fat.
pushing
hell yeah.
all of the unhealthy
hell yeah.
shit and suppressing all of the good information.
Yeah, dude. So
And
I think
paying
they
to do
hopped
it.
on that intermittent fasting quick. They're like, oh yeah, just eat a later breakfast, and then do everything else like we've been
That's
telling
brilliant.
you. It is.
Please
All
don't.
right.
Please don't go longer.
Listen, speaking
Don't
of
do your own research.
speaking of conspiracy theory, I heard you earlier breeze right over something where you said, as a man, I think you should lead your family.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that real quick because that is very controversial.
Is it?
Right.
I didn't even know that. Who's leading the fucking families?
As a
Definitely
man,
always the man.
listen, I deal with that shit with my wife all the time because she's been really good the last, few years. But I mean, my kids were basically a product of Taco Bell. Every time she got pregnant, she just went on like a bean burrito for 9 straight months through pregnancy. I got 3 little bean burritos. But the last, 3 or 4 years, we've been pretty conscious. No fast food. Very rarely will we eat fast food and trying, but any chance she'll get, she's going to try and feed us garbage and ask me how she can support me in my quest to lead. And I'm like, it's pretty simple. If you can just not bring that shit in the house at all, then we should be good from there. But I think this is where we landed on that, is where we fall is the old adage where if more than one person is accountable, then no one is accountable. So from a position of leading in the families, what we've found is one person has to be accountable. So if you want to do it, we have to commit to the same thing. Like, we're not doing that shit anymore. And you can be a leader of your family as a man or whatever you call yourself, and allow someone else to be accountable for that task or that element or aspect of life. In your family, are you the one who's accountable for that? Or are you in sync with your wife?
We're in sync, and I think a lot of people misconstrue what lead means. If you're
That's what I was getting
fat piece of shit,
Yeah.
that's like porn addicted, just like drunk, fucking, you got nothing going for you.
Yep.
Just because you're a man does not give you the right to lead your family or tell them what to do.
That's right.
You need to lead by being the example and being like,
Yeah.
hey, wife's co-captain, kids are the crew, I'm the captain. Co-captain's in charge of the household, the kids, the day-to-day. I'm steering the ship towards where this family is headed. But you need to like don the captain's hat. You don't just get that right because you were born with the chromosomes of a man.
Dude, we had a whole episode on this and we got, remember? What were we going to say?
But no, I was gonna say he said exactly what we said.
Yeah.
Just because you're a fucking dude doesn't. If
You
you're a
don't-
piece of shit,
You got to earn
you're a
that
piece
shit.
of shit. Like
Right.
you shouldn't. Women, don't listen to your man if
That's
he's
right.
a piece of shit.
I think you made a short about that.
I did.
Dude,
Yeah.
well, you're leading them one way or another. You're either leading them into a fucking iceberg or you're leading them to dry land.
We did an episode on that and got a whole bunch of hate on our social medias where
Nice.
It was
ShedFatFast.com.
Yes, got it. We did we got a whole bunch of hate because women were like, "What if your husband's a piece of shit?" Like, I'm not gonna follow that asshole. Like, he's not doing shit. And then we were like, well, we better clarify. Yeah, no shit, women. You have no obligation to follow some piece of shit who is not providing and not being a good leader and leading by example. But in your program, I mean, just understanding how important health is and lifestyle in the family is to your mission of shedding fat fast and doing the right thing, dude. It's counterproductive in every aspect if you can't get that dialed in. So I imagine that's a part of your topics of conversation with your coaching groups.
Well, 100%. Like I was talking about with the drinking for me was I would drink every night and wake up the next day and be like, I'm not doing it tonight. And then I drink again. And just that like perpetual feeling of failure of like, dude, you said you were going to, but here you are again.
You failed yourself.
Here you said you weren't going to do it. Here you are again, day in, day out. That is a lot of people with their fitness.
Yep.
A lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me.
I'll do a lot of people.
Yeah.
So if you're constantly lying to yourself and letting yourself down, it just depletes your self-confidence. And then that is when, so like I would drink as a form of escapism. I wasn't like, I told you, like kids are crying. Wife's bitching at me about the dishwasher again. She doesn't know I just had a like really long day. Can't talk to her about it. She doesn't care. She's not an entrepreneur.
Yep.
Two fucks. Then I'm like, all right, well, I got like 3 hours left till I can start working again or go to bed. Time to sedate and start drinking.
Yep.
And once I found that out, I was like, okay, that's no good. I thought I just liked whiskey, but it was like, do I really like whiskey or it's always after I've had a really bad day and I'm stuck watching Paw Patrol for the 100th time.
Yes, everybody likes whiskey at that point.
That's always when I want to drink. And I think that's why it's felt so good over the last 6 months is like, I'm finally making progress, man. I'm actually doing what I said I was going to do. And then that translates into everything else.
Yeah, dude.
Because you're like, oh, man, maybe I really can do what I say I'm going to do. So I'm going to say that I'm going to do some really cool shit and work on those things now.
And then start doing them.
Because you dropped the bottle and picked up a guitar, right?
Yeah, dude, I've been strumming the old six
So instead
string.
of drinking, he just grabs his guitar and he's trying to teach himself.
Gotta
how to
love
play
that
guitar.
addictive personality.
Yeah,
Switch it in for one thing better.
Yeah,
getting-
you got. I think that's how habits work. You can't just like sit there and like Clockwork Orange your way through Paw Patrol. You have to like channel it somewhere
That's right.
else.
You got to replace it.
Yeah.
Put it somewhere else.
So I'm digging it.
Yeah, that's like the 75 Hard program. We just talked about this also with a group of friends of ours, a lot of which have never done it. And they're like, I don't have time. And it's like, no. You're going to stop so many things that
You don't have time for your fitness.
Right. You're going to stop so many things because you're going to reprioritize and you're going to reallocate your time. And then next thing you know, you're going to go, oh shit, I've got more time to do things like start playing a guitar or whatever it is, because you have to replace those things you're doing. Like you're not drinking anymore. Think about how much time drinking takes from you. I mean, nights, weekends, afternoons,
Unproductive mornings from the night before.
hangover time, like recovery time, the amount of time you're going to free up if you're a drinker, which I don't know. I would probably guess most people that go on the 75 Hard program are.
That might be the thing they struggle with the most. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Oh, I can't not drink. Even my wife, who is not a very big drinker, but just a
Social drinker.
she can't. It's hard for her just to go out with the girls or out to dinner and not have just a drink for fun. A lot of times she won't even finish the drink.
Dude, you know what the biggest thing's been though?
What?
So we have a pool in our backyard. We have 3 little girls. Like, imagine, God forbid, if something were to happen, if I had like a whiskey out there, even if I hadn't, like, maybe I had a sip or two.
Right.
Like, there's a narrative that could be painted. Or if I'm disciplining my niece and nephew that are like little brats.
Yep.
What's up, Paige and James, if you're watching? And then, like, there's a whiskey present or an open beer. It's like, is my kid being a brat or is Joel drinking again?
Sure.
If me and my wife get into a fight, like, was he
geez.
drunk? Dude, it's like, you remove that, and it's such a superpower because you're like, no, I called you that because I meant it.
Yeah, that's right. That was very clear-headed. That's right. You were being a fucking brat.
Yeah.
Paige and James, sorry, not you.
Hey, not you guys.
Of course not. Different fictional nephew and niece.
Yeah, but it's like a dude. It's like someone can paint a narrative about you if alcohol's involved. I got pulled over. We went to one of my wife's office parties like 2 months ago. They had like their 20-year anniversary or whatever. And it was like 5 or 5:30, just quick get together. But they were having beers and stuff. And I was driving her car back, and I got pulled over because I took a right on apparently a street that said no right on red. And like the cop was like, "You drinking, man? I know there's a lot of bars over there." I'm like, "Nah, man.
No chance, brother."
Like, I don't give a pull me over.
Yep, I was literally going to use that exact analogy where if you're driving and you're sober, you feel like invincible. You're like, "You can pull me over if you want. I'm not gonna. I've been waiting at this red light for 5 minutes.
Please pull me over.
Right.
If you even had one drink, you are
then
driving scared. And
Yeah. And the flip side of that analogy is if you had one drink and then you kill somebody, you T-bone somebody that pulled out in front of you, or, God forbid, I wouldn't even want to say it, but you hit a kid walking across the street because you're on your cell phone. Dude, you're going right to the alcohol and you're going to prison. Mm-hmm. Like, it changes things. I agree 100% with just the clarity, kind of as I mentioned earlier. I want to move into, I love this topic, especially as Zach and I sit here in the middle of the day and drink whiskey. We drink responsibly. Trust me, Joel. Just believe me. I want to go talk about your clients. We mentioned it earlier. You've got over 1,400 clients that you've coached. You've got somewhere around 100 that you're coaching at any given time, I think you said. How much time out of your day, I mean, being a busy guy, worrying about not only your business, but a family and your own health and your own fitness that you do, how much time are you spending daily or weekly for your group?
Not much.
Really?
No. But for real, when I started, when you start any business, you're wearing all the hats.
Of course.
So I was posting on social media, doing the DMs, taking the sales calls, doing the onboarding, coaching everybody through all 12 weeks.
Yep.
But then you hit a ceiling at that point because you only have so much time.
That's right.
So the first thing I outsourced was really for coaching. We have the plan dialed out. It is customizable. Everyone has different wants, needs, schedules, all that stuff. But I had worked with so many clients at a certain point that I hired my first accountability coach. And his job was to pretty much keep in touch with everybody and be like, "All right, man, how'd your 48 go? How you feeling? You get your workout in today?" And take over like the coaching aspect.
Okay.
So that was the first thing I outsourced. I have a couple accountability coaches now. We have a mindset coach that does a training each week. So as far as the coaching is considered, I do very little. If there's like a big problem, like say Facebook were to hear this podcast and delete me, that would be where I get to.
That would be a problem.
That'd be where Daddy gets to work.
Sure.
Like a big boy problem. But the day-to-day stuff, not as much. Second thing I outsourced was like the sales calls. You can only take so many sales calls. So then I hired somebody and he started taking them all, hired more people. But not a ton, man. I've started over the last year or so having a back-end program like we talked about for guys that have already lost weight, but they're like, "Dude, I didn't know if I put this much time and energy and consistency into a blueprint, into a plan, and had community backing me that I could be so successful in this area."
So I'm ready to take it to the next level.
Yeah. I either want to stack on muscle now or quit some bad habits or improve my marriage or whatever it is. We have a mastermind, and that's where I spend the vast majority of my time these days, called the Winner's Circle.
Well, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
All right. We need to get involved in the Winner's Circle. Zach,
Sounds
you
like
need to
it.
be in a Winner's Circle. So right now you're in a
One
fucking
time in my
loser.
life.
Yeah, you're in a loser circle right now. Dude, that's awesome. That's cool. How long have you been doing the mastermind?
About a year and a half now.
That's great.
Dude, I want you to talk a little bit about, because we talk all the time about taking the leap and starting a business,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
Because you were in the corporate world, I guess, beforehand, and you just made the decision one day to stop doing that and move over to this full time. And that's a scary proposition for a lot of people. And especially at the time you had a family, right? So
It was Kennedy's first day of daycare. I quit my job.
and
Smart move.
Yeah. But even
I was not making any money.
Yeah.
either.
so talk about that piece. Yeah, jumping into a business that isn't going to bring a lot of revenue initially, and then also hiring people in the middle, because that's obviously a a scary problem. My wife is actually kind of dealing with that right now too. Like she's hit her peak, like you were saying, you can only do so much and you're going to have to hire out. But sometimes hiring means you're taking a step back initially to move forward even farther. So I guess just talk about kind of the feeling behind that and maybe even the conversation with your wife when you walked in and said you didn't have a job anymore.
Oh, I didn't tell her. She found out through a friend. We'll get into that.
Smart.
Yeah. I was pretty much checked out of my job for 6 months or so. I was in transportation, freight broker, and dude, great company. Owners were the best you could ask for. I worked with all my friends. I made great money.
Yeah.
It was pretty easy, but I was like, I'm staring out the window of this bright blue sky, and it's like an 80-degree day, and I'm stuck here
Trapped
for
in an
7
office
hours.
making calls.
Dude, I'm like, fucking, this sucks.
Yep.
So it was building up and building up. And shout out to Sean Murtaugh. He sat by me. He was my partner. And he just listened to my Shark Tank ideas for like 6 months straight. Maybe I'll start a meal prep company. Yeah. So I'm like taking office time to Google refrigerated trucks and like coming up with business plans and shit. But then we had Kennedy, like I said. And there was no more time after work. I started working with a couple fitness clients. Dude, I was charging like $49 a month, and I had like 3 clients. I'm making 6 figures at my job. But on Kennedy's first day of daycare, I'm heading in. I need to get an oil change. I need to go to the dentist and get my Invisalign like refigured out or whatever it is. I had all these like errands stacking up, all these meal plans that had to be redone, clients to check in with. And I'm like sitting in traffic. I'm like, dude, this fucking sucks.
I'm not going to do what everyone thinks I'm going to do. Freak out.
Yeah. It was like, I can't even attribute it to like having balls of steel. I felt like anxiety. I'm like, dude, you got no other choice. So I didn't quit that day, but I said it was a Wednesday. And I was like, I'm going to call in sick Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Just tell them I need the rest of the week off because of an emergency or whatever. Get caught up on stuff. And then I'm just going to work from home, see if I can land any clients, see if I even like it. And if I do, I'm going to call and I'm going to quit on Monday, or I'm going to go in there and quit on Monday. So that was Wednesday. Next day's Thursday. I go to the gym early, like I'm going to work. So Amy's not, I didn't tell Amy about any of this shit. She was very like, you have a great job. You're not making any money with this business.
Yeah. What are you
Stop
doing?
talking to me about it.
Yep.
I'm like,
Don't
"All right,
fuck
cool."
this up, Joel.
Yeah, exactly. So I go to the gym, act like I'm going to work out, come back when she leaves. And I'm as I'm at the gym, I get a call from the owner, which again, he was at the bachelor party with us. Super cool dude.
Great dude.
But he also has a company to run. He's like, where the fuck are you? So I was like, oh, yeah, man, they didn't tell you. I just had a bunch of stuff to catch up on this week. I'll be in Monday. And he's like, oh, that's cool, man. Hit me up when you get in. There's something I wanted to talk to you about. And I'm like, oh, dude, you're not going to fire me on my big, like, quitting. I'm going to quit. So I was like, you know what, man, actually, I've been meaning to talk to you about something, too. I really can't get this shed fat fasting off the ground and work for you, man. You know how much I love you guys and I appreciate you, but I think it's just time for me to shit or get off the pot. And he's like, for real, dude? Are you quitting right now? I'm like, yeah, I guess I am, dude. I just got to go all in on this thing. And this was Valentine's Day, mind you.
Okay. Perfect.
Just keep
Perfect.
piling on.
Yeah. So he's like, no, I was going to tell you, I could tell you've been checked out. I was going to see if you wanted to run like the office gym and like train people. There's people that, why don't you do that? That way, like you still have a paycheck. And I thought about it for like a couple seconds. I was like, oh, that'd be nice. And I'm doing fitness stuff,
There's a carrot.
But then I'm like, it's not really what I want, dude. I'm still looking out that window and seeing the blue sky, and I'm just trapped somewhere else. So I'm like, dude, I'm going to try to do my own thing here. I'm like, why'd you have to fucking call today, dude?
Yeah.
It's Valentine's Day.
Damn it.
I somehow find a way to fuck up every Valentine's Day for poor little Amy every year. And he's like, just don't tell her till tomorrow. I'm like, that's a good plan. And then he goes to the office and tells everybody. Then all our mutual friends are like,
Yep.
No.
wow, Joel quit? What the fuck?
Happy Valentine's Day, Amy.
Yeah, so that Valentine's Day was a shit show, but it ended up panning out.
Yeah, dude, that's hilarious.
Working out well for you.
Yeah, it's working out. And dude, that's the way it is, though. It coming from an entrepreneurial spirited mindset.
But it's all about that shit or get off the pot.
Dude,
Because
that's
there's a ton of people that are in corporate America who have some idea or something else they'd rather be doing. They're just scared to make the jump.
Dude, I burned the boats that day. That's for sure.
Yeah, just fucking do it.
So it sounds like your answer to Zach's question was, if you're married, wait until Valentine's Day and quit and let her
And then
find
let
out
her
through
find
a
out.
friend.
Let her
Exactly.
friends tell her what happened.
Exactly.
I think I've told this story on the show before too. I did something similar. I came home to my wife, told her, this is the easiest job that I've ever had. I got promoted. I took the GM position at basically an exterior company, roofing company. I was making well deep into the six figures. I was the easiest job I've ever had and the most money I'd ever made. And I came home, I'm like, this is the easiest shit. And I mean, I was enjoying what I was doing, which makes it easier. And I was making more money than ever. And about 2 weeks later, I came home and told Lindy, I think I'm going to quit. And she's like, what are you doing? Literally 2 weeks ago, you told me this is the easiest job you've ever had. You love it. And you're making more money than you ever had. I'm like, yeah. But there's this thing. Like, I have to do something for myself. And I felt trapped in someone else's world. And that's probably what you felt. And I think most people, I mean, Ian did the same thing. I know Zach feels that way in the Army. And after 20 years in the Army, I think everyone with a functioning brain feels that way after 20 years in the Army. Like, shit, man, I can't ask you for permission anymore. But I would encourage our audience to embrace that. I mean, you know, I've got employees that I sometimes feel like I'm encouraging to quit. I'm not encouraging anyone to quit their job, but I am encouraging people to do some shit for yourself. Like, take the jump, take the leap. It's going to be scary. I just told Lindy last night, we were having dinner, and she says, you know, as she moves towards her retirement, she says, I don't know what I can do to help you. And I'm like, well, you can just remind me to take my own advice. And that is, it's supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be hard. And at the end, it's going to be worth it. And the harder it is now, the better it's going to be. And I encourage everyone to take that same advice. Like, it's going to be scary. It's going to cause turmoil. Your wife's not going to be super happy. She's going to be scared, or he's going to be scared. And you're just going to have to fucking deal with it. But once you put your back against the wall, dude, if you're a fighter, you'll quickly learn you can fight your way out of it.
Dude, the back against the wall mentality, that's when you find out, like,
Yeah.
what you're made of. But it's scary, dude, until you rip the Band-Aid. I remember,
And all of a sudden,
like, as soon as I got off that call that I'd been building up in my head for
Yeah,
6
dude.
months, I was like,
you were
oh,
free.
shit, dude. I'm like, the shackles are off. I'm
Let's
a
go.
free man.
I'm unemployed. Look at that.
Happy Valentine's Day.
I have one more paycheck, and I have zero income.
Dude, but it's the same way. You said you've worked with coaches, you hire coaches.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've invested in yourself before.
Yeah.
It's always that, like, it's time to run the credit card. And it's like, oh, God, what if this doesn't work out? What if I look
course.
stupid? What if they just steal my credit card
The
information
what if
and
game.
move to China?
Yep.
But as soon as you run it, you're like, oh, I'm committed. I'm in. It's like, fuck yeah, we're
Yeah.
doing this thing.
That's right. And for the people that I coach and for my coaches, I will tell you, coaching is only going to be what you put into it. I tell people in my coaching group, stop coming. If you're not going to do what I'm telling you to do every month when we meet, you spend your time with me, and then I give you things to do and tasks. And I mean, I have people reach out all the time. Hey, will you meet with me? You know, I need some advice, or I need a mentor, or I need something. Sure. My one thing that I ask is that if I tell you to do something, you do it. If not, you're wasting my time, and you're definitely wasting your time. And if you're paying to do it, and you're paying to coach somebody or to be coached or mentored, and you're not doing what they're telling you to do, then you're gonna be wasting your money.
It's funny you said that about accountability at the beginning of the podcast. A lot of people, not everybody, but a fraction, find out pretty quickly they blame accountability. I don't have anyone holding me accountable.
Yeah.
And then they find out real quick they don't want to be held accountable.
That's right.
Because it's like another voice besides the one in their head that they're letting down, being like, dude, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
I thought you said you were going to do that.
You know what's so amazing, though, is I think
That's right.
accountability is one of the most rewarding things. Like when you get on a workout routine or fasting or anything, or running your own business and run that schedule, once you get in that, you being accountable for that is the most rewarding thing, because
100%,
you're
yeah.
the one that's kicking ass
Yeah.
and doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's right. Dude, that's awesome. I want to touch on something else outside of your health and wellness and fitness program, which is awesome. And Joel Stanley Fitness is where they can find you. Joel Staley Fitness is where they can find you on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
So at Joel Staley Fitness is where they can find you online on all the places.
Do you have a website?
Shedfatfast.com.
Okay, go there and report back with results. But I want to talk about another thing that you mentioned. Maybe Facebook gets a hold of this, and maybe all your accounts get shut down because you have now associated yourself with the Protect Your Purpose podcast, which means you're fucked at this point. So there goes your career.
Bring it.
Get ready to tell Amy we're screwed again. We're back to zero.
Hey, we'll figure it out.
But with that being said, I want to get your opinion on, like, I don't know, space travel.
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you think?
Non-existent.
Non-existent. You think there is no space travel?
No, for sure not. I've never been more positive about anything in my life.
What do you think is more certain, that if you do 48-hour fasts, you're going to shed weight, or we have not been to the moon?
They're pretty both.
2 things can be true at the same time, Matt. You know that?
Yeah, two
Pretty
things
much
can be true at the same
100%.
time. You
I don't even
we've been
think
to
you
the
can
moon?
land on the moon. I don't know what the moon is. You only see one side of it. Yeah, it could
Always.
be like a. It could be like a.
Transformers showed you what was on the dark side of the moon.
Yeah, it's just weird that you can only see one. Like, it's rotating perfectly. It's not 1 minute off. So over the last 1,000 years, we've ever seen the other side.
Boom.
I think it could just be a luminary. I don't know. I haven't been there. No one's been there. No one knows. I don't claim to know what it is.
You don't
Not
think
me.
anyone knows? Not me either.
No, I think there's ancient knowledge that probably got hidden away pretty well into certain circles that know. But, so what I think, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, is I do think humans are farmed. And whether that's for our benefit or people just tell themselves that or what, I don't know. Have you looked into the moon map?
It's like a map of Earth or of North America or something on the moon. I saw something about it. I haven't looked deeply into it.
Yeah, well, somebody has looked deeply into it.
Well, somebody has,
And
Matt.
it's
and
like
you're
a
talking to
mirror. Okay. So here we go. Educate us. Let's go.
Yeah, look into the moon map. You can't look on like YouTube or any of those fucking places, obviously.
You won't
by
find
Google.
it.
But it is a perfect inverted reflection of North America, South America,
Yeah.
all the 7 continents, like
On the moon?
verbatim. So, yeah, on the moon. Those little dark, patchy spots, they're perfectly aligned with all the continents. Like, people have mapped out, all right, here, this goes there, like, proving it beyond a shadow of a doubt. But then there's, like, this fraction over here. It's like, well, then what the
What's
fuck
the
is that?
extra part
Yeah,
over
like,
here?
what is that? So, man, I don't know. It's a fun rabbit hole to go down, but as far as, like, you can see hours and hours and hours of the green screens of the NASA astronauts, or, like, the bubbles
Bro.
coming up from the spacesuits. Like, it's
I
just
don't
a
even
business.
understand how living in today's world where we have the technology that we have that is so, like, it's so present. Like, in our kids' elementary schools, they're learning deeper and more sophisticated technology. I mean, TikTok, my kids are operating on a green screen on their phone with the click of like 2 buttons and an effect from their cell phone. And people are still believing that it would be impossible for them to have a green screen.
So, I do think they want I almost think it's like an IQ test. Do you know anything about eugenics at all?
A little bit.
So they used to have the eugenics program that was like very black and white. Like, hey, if you're an idiot, a moron, or an imbecile, they had all these qualifications. Like, we don't want you breeding. You need to, like, be gone.
Right.
But obviously that got bad PR. So they had to be a lot more
Sure.
secretive about it.
They couldn't obviously tell dumb people that they were dumb and they're not allowed to reproduce.
Exactly. So I do almost think that, like with the, I don't know, the mRNA vaccine type deal, is they tell you, like, they let the side channels, hey, it is experimental. Hey, we've never done it before. Hey, it's totally different than anything. Like, to the person with common sense, you're like, I'm not fucking taking that shit or putting it in my kids.
Right.
But but if you're just like a drone that goes through the day, and you're like not at the point of like being a free thinker, it's like, yeah, fucking take it, kill yourself, sterilize yourself.
Or whatever.
Or whatever.
Or whatever
I don't
it
claim
is.
to know. I know a lot of people are getting sick and dying right now, is all I'm saying.
I know
Could be
that's
coincidence.
right. And it isn't the unvaccinated.
But I do think they could fix those green screen glitches, or buy BitChute or these other channels that aren't YouTube and get rid of altogether. But I think that they need to give like the crumbs to like, hey, do you still use your brain at all? If so, go down the rabbit hole and maybe don't make these decisions that all your friends are making.
Oh, dude. Well, what was the
Well
quote,
said,
Ian, that
well
you
said.
always say? So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a full-blown conspiracy theorist on the show. Another one bites the dust. What was that? The mantra that they kept repeating? Don't think for yourself, or don't do your own
Don't
research.
do your own research.
Dude, did you maybe you didn't see that? We did an episode where we reacted to this kind of.
I actually shared it yesterday because Kyle Kasperbauer shared it on his Instagram. So I shared it this morning.
It was all the news clips of them
Dude.
telling you to not do your own research.
the information superhighway, delivering its message. Don't do your own research. Don't do your own research. Don't do your own research. Don't, like on repeat.
Get the vaccine. Don't. You should go to jail if you haven't been vaccinated. Don't do your own research.
All right, so let's take the eugenics perspective. Let's say they want a certain class of people to not reproduce. Like, it's proven in the eugenics. Like, they talk about it. It's a proven thing. They said they got rid of it a little bit ago.
Sure.
But let's just
They're
Let's
rebranding. They're rebranding it.
They are rebranding. Let's just use a little bit of rhetoric, but some common sense. What better way to get the lower half, we'll call them, to not reproduce than to take a sterilizing medication, chop your cock off, and be gay? Like, you do those three things.
Check, and check.
It'd be hard to
problem solves
reproduce.
itself, right?
Promote divorce. Promote
Exactly.
alcoholism. Get people get the wife back to work so there's no communication at home. Get the kids back to the schools this way they're raising them. Oh, guess what's going to happen? The family unit's destroyed. There are no more reproduction organs on our youth doing their best. 100%. That's what's happening. And I don't understand people that don't understand it.
I don't either. People shock me every day.
But these are the same people that were repeating the mantra out loud to other like fully functioning humans, saying, "Don't."
Dude, I love the way he just put it.
Don't look
We'll
into
call
that.
them the lower half.
Yeah, I mean, the dummies that are.
The useful idiots.
Well, and just
Useful
like
idiots.
Dude, yeah, the useless eaters is what they call it during the eugenics.
The useless eaters?
Yeah, like they didn't bring any value. All they did is consume resources. That's not my words. That was the words of the people that factually killed them not that long ago.
Not that long ago.
well, just like you. So you're in the fitness side of the world, and they're trying to attack that too. Just like Lizzo, body positivity. I'm proud that I'm fat. Well, you're also going to die a lot quicker.
You're going to die at 52.
Yes.
So
how I think about it is if you don't have the mental capacity to see through some of these smoke screens, then you're falling into
You lost.
It's eye-opening once
right.
you do, though. I mean, that's something that Matt preaches is like once you have that eye-opening moment,
can't
you see
unsee it.
everything's like a stage.
Yeah, you can't
They're
unsee
all actors.
Oh yeah, and then you start going back, and you're like, hold on a second, holy shit, that was fake too. And then you start to realize why and how it would take a. But so we've talked about this before too. We do this personality survey deal in my business called the Culture Index, where basically when you dive deep into it and you start getting trained on the difference in different types of brains and how different personalities work, I mean, there are some people that just do not have the ability to see a broader vision. They just don't.
Yeah.
And then there are some people that are like bona fide visionaries that can solve. And what it does is it allows you to, being a visionary allows you to, number one, imagine something being the case. Some people have no ability to do that. None. They cannot imagine something that they can't see, feel, touch, hear, smell. Like it doesn't exist if it's not in front
They
of
are
them.
not conspiracy theorists.
Right. They are not conspiracy theorists. They are the opposite because they're like, what are you talking
Why would
about?
they lie about it?
How could they do that?
They're our government. They would never lie.
Right. So,
$68 million a day to NASA, but why would they lie to
what? What do you mean? Right. And then there are people that can see that vision, be like, all right, yeah, I could see that as a possibility, but there's still a no way because they don't have the ability to mentally solve the problems it would take. So they hit a roadblock and they're like, no, they can never do that because because people would catch on.
And it's too scary.
They don't want to see that.
Like, if they could lie about that, then
Right.
what's real? Like, I got to go back to day one and be like, reevaluate everything. So
Yeah,
it's
man.
much easier just to be like, nah, why would they lie?
Why would they lie? Yeah, dude, you said it. There's the words. It's easier. It's an easier life. We've talked about that before too, where
Put your head in the sand.
fuck, man. Yeah, it's a much easier way of living if you just bury your head in the sand and pretend that what you see around you is not happening. I mean, like the COVID, the pandemic, if it wasn't for the mask, there wouldn't have been a pandemic. The masks were the billboard they were the advertisement for what they were selling us. And without the advertisement, it wasn't present. If you turned off the news and took off the masks, no one was
Asymptomatic.
dying. No, the hospitals were not overran or overwhelmed. None of that was going on. And we were walking around going, I mean, there's no toilet paper, but I don't see, no one's really dropping dead. I mean, and I'm not saying people didn't die. I'm also not saying people aren't still dying from the cure, but dude, it's a whole big stage. This is what it is. The world is a stage. Some people see it, some people don't.
It's funny though. There's always a benefit. So like COVID, you were talking about. Not only does Amy get to pretty much work from home now, which is a benefit.
Sure.
But a lot of people found out they could work from home, and you talked about masks. We used to need to like guess who the crazy people were. Like maybe they had short purple hair and black rimmed glasses. And
Not
that was a good
anymore.
giveaway. But now, like you see who seems like a normal person. 2
Yeah.
years after the fact, still at
wearing
high
their
V
mask.
wearing their face mask, and you're like, "Oh my god, I would have never known this dude
Yeah.
was nuts."
And now we know.
And now, like you said,
See them
billboard,
driving in
yeah.
their
the
car by
whole
themselves.
store knows that this person's crazy.
Yeah, sitting in their
dude.
car, windows up, all by themselves.
No one in the car, and they got the mask on. Like, what are you doing?
And also Corona, that's when I was like, dude, if they could do this, like that was my catalyst for a lot of other stuff.
Same.
Of like,
Yeah.
they call it, the Great Awakening or whatever. It was like, dude, how long has this shit been going on?
Right.
None of us were anti-vaxxers until
No.
the COVID vaccine.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude. that shit.
My oldest is laced up, but my two youngest, I'll like go to my deathbed being like, stay
This
the
is
fuck
it.
away from them with any of that shit.
Right. And guess what? Surely there are vaccines that are helpful. Right?
Potentially.
We got to say at some point there are things that we have injected into our children and an entire population.
I'm glad I got that
That were helpful.
anthrax vaccine. Thank God for that.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, he don't know about that though. That's us military
Dude, yeah.
folk.
Dude,
The
us
4
military
series-
guys, I was in the Navy.
Oh,
Us-
shit, that's-
us
hey,
military
I was
guys
Navy
got
too.
Got it good, man. The peanut butter shot.
Hey,
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's-
what was the
whatever
hardest
says
part
no.
about the Navy? Like joining or telling your parents?
Stop.
You're gay?
What were you in the Navy?
I was
The
a
peanut
sonar-
butter shot is what they call it in the
No,
Navy.
hold on. He's about to say something.
No, I know what he's talking about. We
Sonar
got the same
tech on
shot.
submarines.
I was a sonar tech on submarines.
Yeah, bro. Get over here.
I was on the USS Scranton out of Norfolk, Virginia.
I was stationed in Norfolk for a little bit. I was up on the Toledo in Groton, Connecticut.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, Ground, Connecticut, bro.
You guys
That's
are
sick.
great.
No
Sonar,
way.
dude. It's a small
Hey,
world.
you guys can jerk each other off after this. Let's get
Yeah,
Holy
let's
hell.
get back to the show here, you two. No.
There's like 100 of us.
Dude, that's awesome.
Literally. Wow.
That's awesome that you guys were both sonar techs.
On
It's a pretty,
submarines.
it's a pretty interesting job.
What was your longest you've ever went without seeing the sun?
3 months.
63 days for me. Yeah.
Oh, you are lesser of a man.
I am.
You are. What's your longest fast? I bet he's got you there too. What's your body fat percentage? I bet he's got you there
He
too.
does,
Just
he
lesser
does.
of a man, Ian. But he's having trouble with his media production, and I bet you're kicking his ass on that. So
Yeah, he's a beast.
yeah, that's awesome, dude. Very cool. I don't know how the heck we just pivoted from vaccines helping children hurting to Navy sewn. Oh, the peanut butter shot. Yeah.
They
dude,
inject everything into you, fucking walking through
Dude,
that line
yeah.
of fucking needles.
the opposite of what it is, but COVID and that whole deal, that whole play. I don't know if it was, you got to think they knew that was going to happen. I would think that they knew this was going to happen. Maybe they didn't, but maybe they didn't understand the great awakening that they were going to cause with this. Because there was a lot of, I say them, us too. I mean, I even was a conspiracy theorist prior to then, and I was always a little skeptical on what was going on, and they would put shit out, and I'm like, that's a little sus, dude. That doesn't make any sense. But COVID opened so many eyes, and now we're seeing them scramble. They're running their play full bore, because if they don't.
But something you always say, though, too, Matt, maybe that was part of their plan, because the Great Awakening also helped the Great Divide. I mean,
divided the shit out of us.
Just not, it split the military. You either got the vaccine or you got out, split the nursing community, split the police. I mean, and then now
families?
Split families. So, yeah, now yes, there's the Great Awakening, but now people... the vaccinated hate the unvaccinated and vice versa, and actually not vice versa, just the vaccinated hate the unvaccinated. But
yeah,
so maybe that was part of the plan, because even their failures was a success for that as well.
Right. And was that intentional? It's one of those things. I think you said it earlier. Like
It was a culling of the herd, my friend.
Yeah.
So there might be two sides, but only one of them just sterilized himself.
Yeah. Right. There may or may. I saw on. One of the socials, one of my friends posted it and said, "We still don't regret not getting it." Like, just so we're clear, nobody regrets not getting it. And I know a lot of people that regret getting it. And I know a lot of people that also they maybe don't regret not getting it or getting it, but they also have come to terms with the fact that it didn't fucking do anything.
And if you got it and woke up later, I know that's got to be a fraction of people. Dude, like, we've all done dumb shit, and just learn from it.
Yeah.
Don't defend it. Like, if it's obvious that it didn't do anything and it's hurting people, then just learn from it. And next time there's a culling of the herd, think, hey, maybe I'm
not going to do this shit anymore. Yeah, dude.
I think we're being farmed, to answer your question. I don't know who's farming us. I don't have the details.
You ever seen The Matrix?
Yeah. I know both.
Our body produces heat, which produces energy.
I also know both the creators of The Matrix are trans now, though. So I don't know what to think.
Yeah, that was what was that delivery of information for us? Both of the creators of The Matrix are trans?
They're both guys. They're brothers that are both now trans.
Brothers?
Yeah.
That have turned into women.
Now they're
That's
women.
an interesting...
Ish.
So now they're sisters.
Or they're claiming they've turned
claiming
into...
to be women.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not actually women.
Yeah.
Because...
So they're still brothers.
Yeah, they're brothers. Whatever they are.
Related, Dave?
Whoever they are. Yeah, I agree. I don't know who it is, and that's the question from the anti-conspiracy theorist mindset is, who are they? And it's like, bitch, it doesn't matter who they are. Look at what they are doing.
Dude, but what's funny is, so last thing I'll say, and it's kind of on the same topic, though, I do feel like they leave you little hints and clues. Like, here's the right answer. Like, we know we're broadcasting this.
That's right.
But use your brain and don't do this. Even the Bud Light thing that made no sense a few months ago. Like, yeah, we're all trans now. Our mascot's trans. I think that's like dude, use your brain. Fucking, you shouldn't be drinking 12 Bud Lights a night anyway. It is gay. Stop fucking doing it. So I'm getting to the point. I was black-pilled at first, where it's like, fuck, everyone's trying to kill me. And now it's kind of like, I feel like I'm getting a nod of like, oh shit, dude. Like, you're telling me.
Yeah.
I just got to not do what all these people are doing.
Oh, they tell you.
They tell you.
These people believe in heaven and hell. They believe in God. And they are telling us that they are poisoning us. They are telling us what they are doing. And then double talk. They then say some other shit. And you're like, well, damn it. They can literally come and tell us the vaccine didn't work. And all of those people are still in the trans.
They get more. Yeah. They
get offended. What do you mean? Yes, it does work.
It's a karmic deal, because if you go on Netflix right now, there's a documentary that's it's called Poisoned, and it's about how all our food's poisoned.
Yeah.
So they feel like if they tell us, then the bad karma's not on them.
That's
We're consenting to it.
That's right.
So just don't consent to it. Be like, okay, they're telling me the food's poisoned. Maybe it's time to plant
Believe them. Yeah, let's take them at their word.
Yeah.
Dude. Anyway. All right, man. I think we wrap this shit.
You got a question for him before we do?
I do. Thank you for reminding me. As
got you,
always,
boo.
I have a question for you, as Ian mentioned. It's one question we ask all of our guests. Usually the last question, but oftentimes it'll spin off into 9 other conversations. We'll go on for another hour. But I'm going to ask you the question. The question is, what is your purpose?
My purpose is on the macro, I want to help people think for themselves and just master themselves. We talked about doing stuff for other people and following the herd, and we've also talked about where that gets you.
Sure.
So just not focusing about even like who's president or what's going on in office or all these things. They do matter, but like take care of yourself first. If you're 60 pounds overweight and you're watching porn every night and you're not providing for your family, like focus on that first, and then you can radiate that
Start to
outward.
weigh in on the other things.
Yeah, so that's number one, is just mastering myself so I can teach other people to do it. And then on the micro, like in my own world, just raising my girls to be self-sufficient, free-thinking savages.
Dude, that's
Boom.
pretty dope.
Thanks to Zach for the heads up for that question.
Yeah. Dude, I love that answer. And it's because I believe that we have been convinced that we are hopeless, we have no hope, and that our communities are destroyed, and have now failed to realize that our communities are built by a bunch of individuals that are taking care of themselves first, and then taking care, giving their wisdom and their life and their encouragement to their community. But it started with themselves. And then we can rebuild our communities. And if we rebuild ourselves first through personal excellence and wellness and financial freedom and following your own guiding star, we can solve this problem. But it does start with us. And people have to, heed your message in working on yourself. And if you are not doing the right thing, which none of us are perfect. No one is perfect, but the ones who are going to make the difference and save this country and perhaps the world from all this madness are the ones who are going to say, I'm going to die trying. I'm going to die trying to protect my purpose. And obviously you're doing yours, dude. Very cool. Very awesome. Great answer. Might have been one of the best. What do you think?
I think if you enjoyed that and this whole show, you should help support the channel by smashing that subscribe and like button, because it's absolutely free and it greatly helps out the channel. We might save the world.
Dude, there it is.
Heyo.
Guys, thank you so much, dude. Thank you so much for coming, Joel. It's been a pleasure. You've been an awesome guest.
Facts.
Thanks for having me. Big fan, guys.
Yeah, heck yeah, dude.
Go Navy.
We'll certainly. Oh yes, yeah. More veteran shows. I love that, dude. Service. Thank you for your service to our great nation. We appreciate that as well. Only ask the guests that are good to commit to coming back. Hopefully, you'll come back and hang with us again.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. You're close, so it'll be a pleasure to squeeze you in.
We'll
where
take
we
a
need
vote
you.
after this.
No, dude, you're voted in. It's the dictatorship. I have sole control over this. Dude, I appreciate you coming so much. Thank you all for listening. And as always, find your purpose, serve your purpose, and protect your purpose, people. Peace.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.